and this occurrence occurred a few years ago. I still think about it more often than I would like to. I was on my way to a work-related event, driving down Highway 18 about 20 minutes from my destination. As I was driving, I noticed there was an intense layer of fog rolling in, considering it was a cold winter night. This wasn't unusual. I started being more cautious, driving slower and keeping a close eye on the road. As the fog continued to thicken, I started second-guessing if I should continue. I kept going on now about 12 minutes from my destination. Something caught my eye. I turned my head for a split second, turning back to see a person on the road. By instinct, I veered off the road, slamming my car into a dividing structure and instantly passing out. I remember coming to and hearing a voice say,
Help me, please.
Dizzily looking around on the verge of passing out again, I thought I saw a girl no older than 12 looking at me through the cracked-up windshield. As I was going in and out, I heard her say,
I don't know why I'm here.
sounding scared and on the verge of tears. I completely blacked out. The next thing I heard was an EMT asking if I could hear him. I woke up in a hospital room covered in bandages with 2 IVs in, my head aching in pain, looking for anyone around me. I tried talking, but I had an oxygen mask on my face. Finally, I could hear someone, feeling myself going to pass out again, already seeing black. I heard a nurse's faded voice say, "Sir," but right after clear as day, I heard that girl's voice say,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get you hurt.
The next time I woke up, I felt a little better. I thought, wow, I was out for a while as I saw the sun shining in the room. I was able to keep myself awake. I pressed the call button, and in walked a doctor and a nurse. They began to tell me what had transpired. I asked them about the girl and if she was okay. They said, "What girl? No one else was at the scene." Freaking out a bit, I said, "There was a person in the road, that's what made me crash." They said again, this time sounding worried, "No one was at the crash site. If someone was, it's possible they could have fled." Getting frustrated at what they were saying and feeling a little upset, they didn't believe me. I began to speak loudly, asking them to double-check about the child. That's when the nurse said,
Please, sir, calm down. We have another patient right next to you.
I realized for the first time since I woke up there was someone next to me. I could hear there was another machine going on. I apologized for my outburst. Hearing a woman say,
No worries, glad to see you awake.
I said thank you. The doctor told me now that I was awake they would be moving me as the space was only used for coma patients. Still, trying to fully gather my thoughts, I asked the nurse what hospital I was at. She gave me the name. I thought, wow, what a relief I was, only about 4 minutes out from the hospital when the crash happened. For the next hour, I did various tests to make sure it was okay to move me to another space. Right before I was going to be moved, I remember something the doctor said. This was a coma ward, but the woman next to me was awake. I said, "Excuse me, Emma," reading her name off the board on the wall. The woman answered back,
Oh no, I'm sorry, that's my daughter.
now pulling the curtain from in between us back. I stared in disbelief, my eyes filling with tears right in front of me, the girl from the accident looking as if she was sleeping. I said hysterically, "Did I do this?" The woman looking at me with pure confusion, she said.
What? What do you mean?
I said louder, "Did I hit your daughter in the accident?" This time she called for a nurse. The nurse rushed in asking if everything was all right. I started yelling, "I thought you said there was no one at the site of the accident." Hearing the commotion, 2 more nurses walked in. They said, "Sir, you have to calm down. We do not want to have to restrain you. Let's get the doctor and figure this out." I said, "No." Shaking with anger and sadness, I said again, "I asked you earlier if I hit the girl and you said no." I yelled, "That's the girl right there." Everyone now looking at me like I was crazy. The mother jumped in looking at me with worry in her eyes and said,
You are mistaken. My daughter was put in a medically induced coma 4 days ago.
The nurses tell her she doesn't have to explain. I began sobbing, the nurses trying everything to calm me down. I began to think, was I going crazy? The doctor walked in and told me they were moving me to another room. Still in shock, I began telling the mother how sorry I was over and over. Not knowing what to do or say, she began crying and moved the curtain back. I was moved to the residential side of the hospital, released 2 days later with minor damage from the accident. When I asked about the family, the nurse told me she couldn't provide any information. I think about this experience constantly. A logical explanation would be nice, but I know deep down that there isn't one. I believe it was a spiritual phenomenon. The girl was trying to find her way or find someone to guide her.